All right, it is really time once again for On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, but the stars of our show, number 78, Jackie Slater, he's one of the, we call him the Energizer Bunny. He played offensive lineman for 20 seasons with the same team. And then you got the super arm, Vince Ferragamo, number 15, Super Bowl 14. I'll always remember him. Played also with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He played with the Golden Bears, also Green Bay, Buffalo. Played around a lot, but really settled in big time with the Rams. And we're here to talk football, sports, and a whole lot more. How you gentlemen doing today?
Hey, we're doing good, Michael. We're remote today, as you can see. We're both together over here in Orange County. So
yeah, the wind is blowing. It's gentle. It's a gentle breeze. The temperature is not too high. And Vince is serving up all this fruit. We're having a blast, man. We're having a blast.
Let's talk about that for a second, because we do have our podcast here, and it's a video podcast. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie on YouTube. Today, the backyard of Vince Ferragamo, which, among other things, is a vineyard. You guys look like you're really having a good time in the sun. I think I see like a pool in the background. Jackie, did you do some laps in there earlier today?
Yeah, Jackie got his work out there. No, but he's good. But Jackie really likes this tree over to my right. Over here, it's a fig tree. And he just goes crazy when those figs ripen up.
You know, he does a great job of drying those figs out, and they become like a savory, delicious kind of a treat to have during the winter months. The other thing that he has right over there that I'm particularly fond of.
You got your eyes on that.
Is particularly fond of is a grapefruit tree. And he had grapefruit on there this big. And I'm telling you right now,
That's
you know how you cut them in half and then you slice those, and then you just eat them out with a spoon.
Yeah.
It was absolutely delicious. And I still have them at home, some of them.
Yeah.
Pink grapefruit, is it there, Vince? Pink?
What's that?
Pink
What's that, Michael?
Pink grapefruit, is it pink or just a regular grapefruit?
No, it's a pink grapefruit, and it's really sweet and unusually sweet.
Yeah,
unusually not as sour as most grapefruits are, but it's really good. It's a favorite here, along with the blood orange and the tangerine trees.
And don't forget the avocado.
Oh yeah.
You gotta have these avocados, Mike. You gotta make sure he sends you some avocados and you make some avocados this front. It's absolutely.
I'm a farmer, you know, Jack.
Yeah, this guy's got more calluses on his hands than I had when I was playing pro football.
All right, tighten up the hatches. We're going to take a quick break. We're brought to you by Harmony Cheese, our great sponsor, harmonycheese.com. And email us onpoint@crntalk.com. Quick break, and we'll be back with On Point Live. We're back with On Point Live with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Just want to remind everybody, our website is onpointlive.net. You can catch our YouTube channel, subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. On Instagram, we're at on.point.live. And the big thing is our sponsor, harmonycheese.com. Now, when we talk Harmony Cheese during this broadcast, you're going to see pictures of delicious, wonderful cheese, fresh from Wisconsin. This is right in the breadbasket of the country, personally inspected by Vince Ferragamo, who played with the Green Bay Packers for a while. And one of the most exciting things besides playing with the Packers was his love of harmonycheese.com. Vince, you love this stuff, don't you?
Oh, my God. You know, it's such a great pairing with wine and food. You know, you have to have the cheese because it's a great accompaniment, you know, Mike. And so they talk about bridging the flavors of the food, and there's no better way to bridge the flavors than have good cheese to go with it.
Right. But see, the only problem I have with Vince is he wants to grade all of his cheese, Mike. What's wrong with just taking some cheese and putting it on a vanilla wafer or a Ritz star?
No problem, Jackie.
Right? I like it just enough.
Oh,
a
my
little
goodness.
flavor.
A little flavor.
Yeah.
Jackie, I have heard that you will go nowhere without Harmony Cheese. You work people out. You've got your thing where you work out fellow football players, and the one thing you introduce them all to is Harmony Cheese.
Yeah,
I bet you got some in your pocket. You got some in your pocket right now, don't you?
Well, I don't have it in my pocket right now, Mike, but I talk about it all the time because it's a healthy, you know, a lot of guys that I train, you know, they have issues with putting on weight. And, you know, cheese is a great source of calcium and it's also a great, it can be high. Some of it can be a high calorie. So if you're trying to gain weight and you want a nice healthy supplement to do that in your diet, you take on some cheese, and that's what these guys. Just about all of them are aware of it, but they just have never heard about Harmony cheese. So I'm telling these guys all about it now, and they're going to try it.
And it goes well with Vince Ferragamo wine. Someday we're going to do this broadcast right from the vineyard, Vince. But since we're talking cheese, let's talk about the big cheese, and I'm talking about Ty Simpson of the Los Angeles Rams. Let's start with that great draft there. You're a big fan of that, aren't you, Jackie Slater?
Well, I'm a fan of it because I know the logistics of how important a quarterback is to an organization. If you talk to anybody in the Rams organization, for the most part, they're going to tell you they're excited about getting this young man. They had a lot of guys, I think, probably take a look at him. I know Kurt Warner, the Hall of Fame quarterback that did so much work for them in St. Louis, he signed off on this guy by saying he's better than Mendoza. That was his professional opinion. And that's saying a lot coming from a guy like Kurt Warner, who was viewed as a guy who can make all the throws. The issue that I looked at was, a lot of people said that this was a pick that was forced down McVay's throat by Snead and some of the other administration. I don't believe that was the case, Vince. And the reason why I don't believe that was the case is because understanding Los Angeles, understanding the fans in Southern California, people in Southern California, many of them are kind of fickle, and they're just now starting to come back to be in Ram fans, because 30 years ago when the Rams left town, a lot of people said they'll never watch another Ram game and they'll never watch another football game. Some of them did. So now that they're back in town, the last thing they need to do is to go without a great quarterback, in their opinion, who can keep this offense of McVay's afloat and moving forward and keeping fans excited about it. Now, right now, nobody's excited about it. It's a little bit of a downer for people because they think they could have gotten somebody to have a bigger impact on the team. But the thing that you need to remember, for those of you who feel that way, is this time a year ago, we weren't sure if Matthew Stafford was going to be able to make it through a full season, make it to a season at all with his bad back. We were all pleasantly pleased and surprised to see what he did. Now, if Matthew Stafford falters again, they like to think that they have the guy of the future. I give Matthew Stafford another 2 years max, Vince, and this kid is going to be right there. See, this other thing, Vince, is you don't know, with the Rams playing the way they are, their roster is stacked right now, in my opinion. With them playing the way they are, if Matthew Stafford is out of the fold and plays another 2 years and they can't keep that rolling, then they're going to probably fall off. The fan base have many other opportunities right here in Southern California. The Chargers, the Raiders, you name it, Clippers, all of them. These people will abandon the Rams in no time if they don't put a quality product on the field.
All right, let's go. Let's go with the Sage quarterback, Vince Ferragamo. You've seen Ty Simpson play. Are you impressed?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, Michael, because you have to look at the quality of the player that you're drafting. And a lot of pre-draft analysis said that Ty Simpson was not a first-round quarterback. A lot goes into why you want to get a quarterback for the future and build a whole franchise around him. Now, I can see Fernando Mendoza because of the qualities that he has. I mean, he has all intangible qualities that we talked about in the past. And so he brings to the table this camaraderie amongst players because it's a team game. Ty Simpson sat for 3 years at Alabama before he played his senior year, and now he's drafted. I like Fernando Mendoza. I think Kurt Warner likes Ty Simpson more so. Maybe it's because he went to Cal. I mean, he was a Cal quarterback, okay. But he did his preparation. He got great coaching through the college ranks. And so now it's the pro time. But the Rams have 3 quarterbacks, Mike. They have 3 quarterbacks, Stetson Bennett, Garoppolo, and also Matt Stafford. So why they're going for a 4th? Same way for a tight end. They already had 4 tight ends. They went for another tight end. So a lot of people don't understand the theory behind it. Jackie, I was under the understanding that the Rams have to win now. That was their stance.
Mm-hmm.
why would you go for the future when Matt McVay really is not a developmental quarterback, but he's just a quarterback guru? So you go into a system and you advance yourself.
Right.
You don't start from the ground floor up.
Right.
But here, this is a quarterback coming out of college
Yeah.
that has to learn and has a lot to learn.
And those were the reasons what Vince just cited. Those were the reasons why a lot of people, in addition to being disappointed that they didn't get more of an impact player, receiver, a big time pass rusher from the inside or something like that, was because they knew this guy was going to be sitting on the bench. And they also, football fans aren't stupid. They can look and see what's going on. And you think about it, Sean McVay is an excellent coach, and he's even better when he has someone who's already gone through the ringers. He's not so green. He's a guy that understands a lot of the complex concepts associated with throwing the football and running an offense. Those are the type of guys that he thrives with. If you look at it,
it's more advanced information, Jackie, that Sean McVay
is giving the quarterback. He can convey
so
that.
you have to really, exponentially grow that way.
Right.
But as a young player, that's a lot of information to feed, to learn, to comprehend, right, to begin to start to digest it all.
Right. And that's what makes the Ram fans say he probably won't be playing for another 3 years or so.
Well, that's true for any college quarterback coming in the pros, I think.
Very rarely you see a young quarterback come in and have early success. When people will force them down the fan base throats on occasion, but this is going to be a situation where this guy's not going to be forced down anyone's throat. We're not going to have to put up with a guy, some kid that doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to sit there behind Matthew Stafford for a couple of years. I think they're going to go about the business of growing him. And then when Matthew Stafford steps down, or if he has to leave earlier for any reason, this kid will probably be able to step right in there and fly. And it won't put a lot of pressure on McVay to grow him, because McVay knows that this guy's dad and some of his other coaches has done a pretty good job with him on some of the basic things, like some of the NFL throws. I heard Kurt Warner refer to them as throws that guys can make in the pros and are expected to consistently make in the pros. He has a handle on many of these things, and so he should be a quick growing guy for Sean McVay. That's what I'm anticipating, man.
Most of these teams, Michael, are getting better, okay? Each year after the draft, the Rams need to get better to get to the Super Bowl, okay? Yeah. So they need to win now. Why didn't they go after some key position players that could help them immediately?
Yeah, well, let's take a break and let's analyze that when we come back. Your thoughts on point at crntalk.com. Email us onpoint at crntalk.com. Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater return. This is On Point Live. We'll be back. We're back with On Point Live. Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. Check out our video podcast. It's on YouTube. Check it out on any TV, any YouTube channel that's around there. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. And don't forget our sponsor, HarmonyCheese.com. Great cheeses. This is summertime. You're going to have people in the backyard, much the same way Vince and Jackie Slater are enjoying Vince's backyard right now. There's a big cheese platter sitting off to the side there with Harmony cheese slices on it, ready to go. And then there's one section full of grated cheese. I don't know what that's all about, Jackie, but a lot of grated stuff on there. Now, On Point Live has learned, and we need comments from you, that the general manager of the Rams, Les Snead, is friends with Ty Simpson's dad, Jason, and apparently those two talked before this pick was made. What do you think about that, Vince Ferragamo?
Well, a little nepotism or something just going on right there, because bringing somebody in the fold who's well known, I mean, that could influence your pick for sure. But why would it happen prior to the draft, saying, "Hey, it looks like it's a good pick for us"?
Yeah.
So it's almost you almost emptied your pockets right there.
Are you sure that happened? Are you sure that that's what happened? Because I heard McVay said that he was reserved about being too excited about the opportunity to draft him, because he wanted to make sure that everybody understands that this is Matthew Stafford's team. And he didn't want Jimmy Garoppolo, and he didn't want Stetson Bennett all these guys that's been here with him for these last few years to feel like they were about to be kicked to the curb. So now I'm not so sure. We need to make sure we take a good observation of all of the facts surrounding this situation before we start saying there was some nepotism going on in there.
You know, when the draft was announced, though, Michael, remember when the draft was announced with Ty Simpson? I think there was a gesture that Sean McVay had to offer that wasn't really it had a lot of controversy over it because it really wasn't he wasn't really excited for that draft pick.
That was what everyone said, that he didn't show very much emotion. He didn't seem like he was on board.
He wasn't too thrilled about that.
And then when you start putting that along with the facts that he, other than the number one overall pick in the draft and Jared Goff, he's, as a head coach, he's never really had an inexperienced quarterback that he's had to grow to be productive.
You think it was a surprise?
Even Baker Mayfield was a high round draft.
But I think the coaching staff should have some kind of input into what kind of personnel they want. I think I see it throughout the league. I see other coaches, saying, hey, we need this kind of player. We need this player in this position. I think Sean McVay seemed a bit surprised on that pick.
Yeah, that's what everybody, around the country was just amazed. Amazed because he's always gregarious. He's always full of energy. He's always optimistic and positive. And then suddenly, all you could talk about was how he didn't seem excited about the pick. He subsequently said that he's excited about the pick. He subsequently said that he didn't want to disrespect the quarterbacks that he has in his room right now by making them feel like they were going to be kicked to the curb, which usually happens when you draft someone that high. But so I got to give him the benefit of doubt, and I'm going to watch with my own two eyes now to see how he goes about the business of investing in the growth of Ty Simpson and to see his influence on Ty Simpson.
I could be wrong with that rumor, but I just thought I had to throw it out there for you. Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater with On Point Live. Vince, just before the break, you mentioned win now. What could the Rams have done in different with a different pick somewhere to help the team out in your estimation?
Well, in my estimation, I think that an area Jackie and I both had talked about, this game is becoming more run-oriented now, Mike, and I think on defense to stop this rush, I think that really plays heavily in the success of a team and the outcome of a team. And I think maybe to go for a great linebacker, who there was a lot of great linebackers and defensive backs in this draft, that maybe they could have really built a draft around with that one particular player, maybe another offensive lineman. A wide receiver was real rich in this draft. And that's kind of what I saw at the top of the rounds to really help my team take the next step, because what if something happens to Davante Adams? He's 33 years old now.
Right.
I mean, or Puka. What happens if something goes awry on that? So you need another guy to step up, Jack.
Right. I think a lot of people thought the Rams were going to go and get a playmaker at the wide receiver position, especially in light of the fact that there's been a lot of conversation about trading Davante Adams recently. And I don't know that Davante Adams would go in and ask to be traded. I think Davante Adams would go in and ask for more money when he led the entire National Football League in touchdown receptions, and that includes everybody in the National Football League. I can understand him wanting to be paid more money. And at that particular time that he requested it, I can see them possibly saying that they want to trade him. So Davante Adams is a playmaker. Vince points out that he's had a bunch of 1-yard touchdown passes, and I can only respond to that by saying, yeah, but he caught him. He caught every one of them.
Exactly.
They threw it to him, and he caught every one of them. So getting another playmaker there, I thought would have been a logical thing to do in light of the fact that we see that there's a little bit of commotion going on with Davante Adams.
Hey, Cooper Kupp is gone. We got rid of him, and that turned out to be a mistake. We could have used him. Davante Adams needs to stay with this team. We need to add some strength here to the Rams. And Kurt Warner seems to think this is a great signing, as I think you mentioned, Vince Ferragamo, that Kurt's a big fan of this signing of Ty.
Yes, I think he likes the way he distributes the ball, and he's got the wherewithal to throw all different kind of routes, Mike, which is great. But you have to look at the accuracy factor, and that's what I kind of really stood out in my mind for a guy like Fernando Mendoza. He's accurate as heck. I mean, he can throw the ball 50 yards down the field within a yard of where he wants it to be. So, I mean, that's the kind of player he is. His mindset is straight. I haven't seen that much of Ty Simpson, to be honest, but the little that I've seen, I would favor in a big way. I would favor Fernando, and I think Kurt sees it differently for some reason. But we're both Ram fans, and we both want to see the Rams do the best. So, but he wasn't going to be available for the Rams in their 13th pick anyway. He was too far down the line.
And I can't express how much attention that we and Ram fans need to pay to this fact. We all know here in Southern California that the Rams are a pretty good football team right now. They're going to be in the thick of it at the end of the regular season and the thick of it throughout the playoffs. We know that. So which means if you're playing, if you're drafting now in the place of a highly skilled football team, and that being shown by you winning a lot of games, the reality is that you're never going to get to draft a QB1 or QB2 because they're going to all be gone every single year. So maybe what Snead was doing here was looking ahead a couple of years and saying, hey, our football team right now is geared to be special right now. We got the quarterback. We got everything we need. Let's get the guy that's going to be able to step into the shoes of our great quarterback right now in 2 years so we can keep winning.
And I think you have to look down the road too, Jackie, when you're looking at the draft, okay, and evaluating talent. Okay, how many quarterbacks are coming out of this year's draft? How about next year or the year after? So you have to analyze when you're going to make a pick like that. Well, do I want it now or maybe next year? The immediate concern, Matt Stafford's there right this year. Maybe next year with a higher class rating of quarterbacks, you got Arch Manning, you got a bunch of other quarterbacks that have really produced. They're going to be seniors next year.
Yeah, but you mentioned Matthew Stafford. This time last year, we didn't know of Matthew Stafford.
But he was the MVP.
Absolutely. So we want to give him the benefit of doubt. I know I do.
He's still playing at a high level.
He's still playing at a high level, but backs are very finicky things, Vince. Just one little step wrong way, and then you're talking about a back surgery and being out, for a year or two. So
Well, they've already
invested.
They've invested with Garoppolo and also with Stetson Bennett. So I mean, you don't want to waste that time invested with those players because they could step in, and Stetson Bennett has proved that he can play. I mean, he's played well in preseason.
But the future could be Ty Simpson's. All right. So who were the draft winners and losers in your estimation? We'll start with you, Vince Ferragamo. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if the Rams were a big winner in this year's draft. I kind of like what Philadelphia did.
I did.
They went for Mekhi Lemon, the receiver out of SC. They traded up for him. They also got a big offensive tackle in that draft. The New York Giants had a good draft, and that tackle they drafted, Jack. He says, "I'll kill for my quarterback."
Yeah, he was pretty
both
fired
those guys,
up.
and they got Arvell Reese in their first round. So the Giants did well. The Jets did well. They got 3 first-round picks. And it's so surprising that the SEC had the most players drafted.
Is that a surprise to you?
But and all 11 Ohio State players on defense were drafted in the first 5 rounds. That's, I think, the first time that's ever happened. So there's been some big winners, Mike. And I don't think the Rams, are in that same class. That's my opinion.
One of the things that always I enjoy watching every year that the draft occurs is watching teams that show they have head coaches that show what the real commitment must be in order to build a franchise. The real
All right,
commitment.
So hold on that, Jackie. Want to give you time to expand on that for us when we return here. Quick break coming up. It's On Point Live. Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, heard every week at this time at radio stations around the country. Get our podcast, any podcast platform. All you got to do is search On Point Live, or on your smartphone, dial pound 250, pound 250, hit send. When the call is answered, say, find my podcast. They'll say, which one? You say On Point Live. We are back with On Point Live. Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, here with you every week at this time. A reminder, delicious, wonderful Harmony cheese is the way to go. You take a look at some of the pictures we have for you, some of the samples. Don't just look at our pictures. Go on the website yourself, harmonycheese.com. Don't forget, when you order, if it's your first order, mention CRN Talk. You get 10% off your order. So take a look at their website, harmonycheese.com. Put together your little bag there and order the cheese. They'll ship it out to you. And mention CRN Talk, CRNTALK. You get 10% off your first order. Now, that cheese goes with everything.
You got to make sure you tell all of our fans to ask for Bree, and she is the one that's going to take care of them.
Bree is the one that'll do it. Harmony cheese goes together with wine like the Harbaugh boys go together in football. In fact, let's look at them, Jackie. You had some comments. How did the Giants do? How did the Chargers do?
Well, this is one of the things that I have noticed. The guys who are coaching in the National Football League that are consistently winning football games, who have their teams consistently talked about throughout the length of a long NFL season, they're the coaches who put a lot of emphasis on where the rubber really meets the road when it comes down to selecting football players. And that is at the line of scrimmage. And the Harbaugh brothers, I don't know if they got this thing where they just said, hey, give me the big people and I can always beat you with the big people. But that's what they do. They make sure that they use their draft picks on big physical guys that can dominate at the line of scrimmage and give a football team, breed courage, Vince.
Yeah.
Breed courage into a football team with their physical prowess. Both of them, for 2 years in a row right now, they have gone about the business of building the Chargers here with Jim, and now in New York with John, building those football teams back up by not just going after the little guys that can run and jump and skip and all that. Yeah, you got to have those guys, but you got to have some pillars of your football team. And those pillars have to do with people that are playing real good physical football at the line of scrimmage, be they offensive tackles or defensive ends or edges or whatever. And that's exactly what both those guys did. If you go and look at it,
for a Lawrence Taylor type.
Absolutely.
Fifth pick in the first round.
They had the fifth pick and the 10th pick, and they got a defensive guy, edge, Arvell Reese, on the edge, who's one of the best. People thought he was the best in this draft. They got him, and then they went and got Franciscus Marigallo with the 10th pick, an offensive lineman. Vince,
I love his style.
What did he say, Vince?
He said, "I'll kill for Jackson Dart.
So
I'll die for Jackson."
Here's a guy that's well over 300 pounds, that's talking about dying to keep people off his quarterback. Man. Those are the kind of men that are pillars of organizations that give them an opportunity to have long-term success. And then if you go and look at Jim at the Chargers now, he's already got the highest paid offensive lineman in pro football right now with his left tackle, the Slater kid. No relation to me. But he also went out and drafted another big offensive lineman last year. And then this year, he goes and get a center. He gets a center, and then he gets Akeem McAdoo, an edge. Right. These guys understand it. I get it. They get it, man. They fill their football teams with people who can dominate at the line of scrimmage, and it gives them a chance to win. It also breeds a lot of confidence, Vince, into the little people on your team when you know you got the best big guys going.
Well, you got to get that stability and that that consistency up there. But it's funny how both brothers drafted the same position. They went for an edge rusher and then an offensive lineman.
Absolutely.
So in the first two picks of the draft.
Absolutely. And both of those guys, if you watch their track records, they've consistently won wherever they've been, and they've consistently been able to keep the game balanced, Vince. They don't have to worry about throwing the football all the time because they're going to be able to run it. They're going to be able to run, and an offensive running back balance what they have is what they have and strive for. And in my opinion, that's what makes championship teams.
That opens up the holes up there.
Absolutely.
I mean, what about all those 49er fans, though? Man, they got to be a little bit miffed because what did the 49ers ever get in the draft?
Yeah, well.
They went for Trey Lance a couple years ago, Mike. They gave up 3 first-round picks for this guy who never played. He couldn't play.
Yeah.
And they traded him away. So how do they continue? They must have to trade for somebody.
Yeah.
They must have to get
well,
somebody.
The interesting thing is Mr. Lynch, right? Is that his name?
John Lynch.
Mr. John Lynch. The interesting thing about Mr. Lynch, and I like him. I remember he was quite the competitor.
Yeah.
A lot of people said of Mr. Lynch that he was, not quite everything that you want athletically, but you could not beat him mentally and as a competitor. And I have a tendency to believe that, like if I were picking players, I would want to pick players that I thought were physical, nasty, played to the whistle every single snap, and you had to call them off one another in practice.
Or can contribute.
That's the kind of guy that I would want to pick. And I think maybe that
next man up. But where's the next man up over there?
I think maybe he has decided to draft the guy that might not be the athlete that you want, but he shows up with the kind of mental toughness, because that's
you gotta have that too, Jack.
Vince, that's exactly what they're saying about his draft. He drafts a lot of guys who don't have that speed, don't have that strength, don't have that quickness, but they're gamers, they're smart guys. And, that's not exciting. Well, a lot of people,
Mike, you got to have those good GMs, okay, Jackie? Howie Roseman, Philadelphia, why have they been playing so well recently? Because of what he's been able to do
loaded.
Draft.
He's
what did he get this year? He got a great tight end from Vanderbilt. What's that? Eli Stowers.
Yes.
And then he went for Mekhi Lemon. He traded up to get him as a wide receiver. What do they need? They need those two kind of guys.
Absolutely.
On offense. Okay, they were stagnant on offense with their quarterback. So they're moving in the right direction. I mean, that's what you got to see from your franchise.
Absolutely. I agree.
Games are lost at the line of scrimmage, gentlemen, and you got to keep strengthening and find your weakness and strengthen that any chance you can get. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, let's switch gears here if we could and get a little bit into the NBA playoffs. They're progressing quite nicely right now. Your thoughts so far, Vince Ferragamo?
Well, I love the NBA Finals. I mean, I love this playoff series. I like what's happening right now. I mean, all the games are so intriguing to see them play. OKC is just beyond a doubt is one of the best teams out there. I mean, they got
being led by possible MVP.
Oh, yeah, they have. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, how can you defend him?
Absolutely.
You can't. It's the same thing with Wembayama. Okay, he's done with his concussion now. He's not going to fall on the floor anymore like that. He's going to brace himself, and he's going to go get a championship. Those two teams are going to be in the finals, and then you see in the East, you've got the Celtics and the Cavaliers are playing lights out.
Yeah.
And so is Orlando, the Magic.
Yeah.
They're beating the heck out of the Pistons. Yeah. Pistons can't figure it out, Jackie. They match up well. I don't know.
We're looking at, as I look at it, I see Joker over at Denver as being the possible MVP. I can't see any reason why he shouldn't be the MVP. He's a leader of that team. He's doing more. He's scoring more. He's assisting more. He's getting more rebounds than anybody in the league. I think that should be a closed shed case. Now you look over there at the big kid that's doing so well. You love the guy, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
He is just he's just a phenom. He's everything that you want in a leader, everything you want in a point guard, handling the ball, dispersing the ball, making decisions he's everything you want. And so when you start talking about the MVP of the league, he is a guy that you would put on the pedestal and say, hey, he's prime candidate. But then the numbers don't lie in basketball, Vince.
No.
It's not like football. Yeah. The numbers do not lie, and Joker is doing the best job of any big in history almost, and certainly in the league right now of leading his team. How about when he goes
rebounds?
Yeah, but how about when he goes after the guy who makes the layup? How about did you like that?
Oh, at the end of the game, Mike, the other night, they got beat. They were getting beat pretty good.
Yeah,
right. So he goes in the Timberwolves. The guy makes a layup just to get another basket. It really
with
he
no
went
time,
berserk.
no time.
Yeah, 1.8 seconds left in the game. Just say the game's over.
Yeah.
And so the Joker runs down the field, down the court, the court, and he confronts him. So what are you doing, man?
He
And
grabs him
and
up.
both benches erupted.
He grabs him up. He grabs him
Yeah,
up.
it's just like, oh my goodness.
I thought to myself, don't get thrown
come
out.
on,
Don't
man.
get thrown out
Well,
of
he
the
didn't
series.
swing at him, so that's
Well,
a
he
good thing,
did.
or else he'd been eliminated for the next game.
I know.
He was smart enough not to do that.
Right. Speaking of getting eliminated, man, I was watching the Lakers, and they got Aiden got thrown out for it. Now he should have been thrown out. Now,
Yeah.
he dropped that forearm on my man.
Yeah.
On my man.
Well, there's so much complaining going on right now, Michael.
Yeah.
And,
That always happens.
That guy felt me out. It's like,
That always happens this
It's
time of
just
year.
great.
Everybody's crying, trying to get
I
the
know,
referees.
but
to
they make a
get
big deal out of that
Yeah.
thing.
But did you actually think that the Lakers were going to sweep in this series?
I did.
You
I
did?
did because Kevin Durant, just every time he gets doubled, he turns the ball over.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't do that. That's their number one guy, right?
But
So
he
when
hasn't
can't
played. He hasn't played.
Well, yeah, he's out now, and
I-
they're actually doing better.
I felt they
with
were
him out.
I felt that they were done when he was out. Remember a couple of games ago in the first half, he had 20 points. Second half, he had one or two, nothing. So when so goes Kevin Durant, so goes the teams that he
That's
plays
true.
with.
That's true. That's true.
in my
And that's
opinion.
what makes OKC so great, Mike. Across the board,
They're loaded.
they're low every position. They got twin towers out there. They got guys that can shoot. They got shoot 3-point. They can play defense.
They got defenders.
I mean, come on.
They might be the best defensive basketball team in the game, man.
Them and the Rockets.
Yeah.
I mean, not the Rockets, the Spurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Wimbayama.
Wimbayama.
They can't make a shot.
And he makes it. And he makes it special.
Wow.
He's the difference maker.
I think we're all
probably going to be the defensive player of the year.
Oh, definitely.
We're all looking at OKC. That's true. But Vince, along with what you said, who would have thought? And by the time people hear this broadcast, Lakers probably finish off the Rockets and move along, and so to the next level. That's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I think a lot of people discounted the Lakers, but when they got it all rolling, when they got Luka back, when they get Austin Reeves, when they get LeBron out there, when they get their other complementary players to start to play, because they've had to play a lot of different type of rotation.
A lot of different type of
and
rotation.
they come in. I mean, and they've got the shooters coming in, and if they get hot, I mean, anything can happen. And I'm a big Laker fan.
Yeah,
so I've been a Laker fan since I was a young kid.
You know the thing that just
I'm pulling
you know the thing every time the Lakers play, and I watch LeBron James. And we get close to the end of the game. I went to the game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, he didn't even play in that second half. But at the end of the game, I always want to watch him to see how he's doing. Now, I don't know exactly what it is that he does. I understand that he has some therapy and some treatments and some things that he does to really make sure that his body is ready to, perform optimally in these games for his age. But as long as LeBron James is fresh and is playing, even at his age, Vince, the Lakers have a chance.
There's no age limit on LeBron.
The Lakers have a
drives
chance.
to the hoop and slam dunk. Nobody wants to stand in front of him.
Nobody wants to stand in front of him.
He goes to the hoop, Mike, like nobody else. All right, and even I don't care what. He can be 55 and still do it.
Vince, have you noticed this? Now think about this, Mike. Every time the ball is being pushed down the field, down the court, LeBron is the guy that is centerpiece. He's the playmaker.
Yeah, he's either going to pass it,
He's
drive
a
it,
6'9"
or shoot it.
maker.
Yeah.
He's setting people up. He's calling the plays. He's orchestrating everything. This guy, if LeBron James is not playing, the Lakers don't have a snowball's chance in Haiti of winning this series. Right now, would have been 3-1.
Well,
the secret is HarmonyCheese.com, and his breath put that little bit of that deep Harmony cheese, sort of blue cheese on there, blows everybody away. You can find out that same experience by going to the website HarmonyCheese.com. That's HarmonyCheese.com. Mention CRN Talk when you check out. Get 10% off your first order. We'll take a break, wrap things up. The show is flowing by today. Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. The show is On Point Live. Thanks for joining us. On Point Live with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Thank you all for listening to the show today. Brought to you by HarmonyCheese.com. Get to their website, HarmonyCheese.com. Mention CRN Talk when you check out. 10% off your first order. That's Harmony, HARMONY, cheese.com. Don't forget to check out our website, onpointlive.net. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie on our YouTube channel. And email us, onpoint@crntalk.com. All right, final thoughts from Jackie Slater and Vince Ferragamo. Start with you, Vince. The Dodgers, what do you think baseball-wise?
Well, I like the way the Dodgers are playing. Mookie Betts has been injured. He's coming back. Kim is filling in with great play, Jackie.
Yes, Hassan Kim.
Yeah, and then Max Muncy. What can you say about this guy, man? He gets up there and he's striking the ball. He's hitting the ball, and he's hitting homers all the time. And then Paez is playing great in center field.
Right.
But they're pitching.
Yeah.
That's the one thing most people don't realize about baseball. Pitching wins. It's like
Pitching
defense.
wins.
They have depth even in
their
the
bullpen is starting to rear its head. There's no doubt about it. I agree with you 100%. But
that's what wins.
Shohei is coming out of that slump too.
Yeah.
And to see that is always good for Dodger fans.
Yeah,
This guy's special. We all know that. We don't even talk about it anymore. He's that good. Yeah. So see him coming back and hitting the ball, making good contact now is critical.
And you know who's a good pitcher?
Who's that?
Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he has been awesome.
Videotape.
Yeah, how tall is he, Vince? How tall is he?
He's a pretty big guy. He's a pretty big guy, but he just has a natural throwing motion.
Yeah, he just comes and he throws it. His persona on the doggone mound is just unbelievable.
All right, what's the name of that pitch he throws? It's like a sinker or a slider or something in there that just people they think it's coming over the plate.
It's like
and
a knuckleball. It's like a knuckleball.
Backdoor slider. He's got his backdoor slider. Got his backdoor slider.
Backdoor slider.
And you go to swing and they can't hit.
Yeah, they can't hit it. Can't hit it.
Lock the back door. That's what I got to say. You guys look like you're having a good time back there. We'll let you go and party the rest of the afternoon at Vince Ferragamo's place. We'll be back next week. Don't forget to email us onpoint@crntalk.com. Again, onpoint@crntalk.com. And check out the great cheese at harmonycheese.com. Very important for you to check it out. One of the things that's always important here when you listen to the show, and you can hear these guys go back and forth all the time, is something we always love to say on this broadcast. Vince, Jackie,
that's right.
What do we always say?
We'll see them all next week. What do we say, Jack?
Stay on the point.
See you next week.